My name is Leah Stewart. I grew up in Bakersfield, California. I was raised in a church-going home where going to church was important, but that wasn't really lived out at home. My freshman year of high school, my dad decided he didn't want to be married anymore, and so he left, and my two older sisters were not living in the house anymore. They were older, and so they kind of removed themselves from the situation. My world had been rocked. My mom was devastated, and it really felt like we had hit rock bottom at that point. And this is where the church came in. The church, for months after my dad had left, had cared for my mom. For me, that looked like people in my youth group taking me under their wing. I was a freshman in high school, and my mom had to go back to work. My mom wasn't working when my dad had left, and now she had to take care of me. So my friends in the youth group would take me to and from church, to and from school, my sports practices, making sure that my needs were met so my mom could go back to work. I had this friend who throughout the process, anytime my parents had a court hearing or I had to go into a court hearing for child custody, that she would write me a note of encouragement so that I would know I was loved and cared for by Jesus, by her, by the community. And so it was really in these situations where I was able to see the love of Jesus in the life around me, in the world around me, through the church that I was going to. When I look at what this church did, like in it being the hands and feet and the love of Jesus, I absolutely fell in love with it. I would even say I fell in love with the church before I even fell in love with Jesus, right? I had grown up learning about the goodness of Jesus, but it wasn't until I saw the church and experienced the church love me in this way that I knew what Jesus was about. And so I ultimately fell in love with Jesus, but it was through the church. It was through the church treating me like they did. And I knew that if Jesus was somebody who would give a church like this and love people like this, that he was somebody I had to follow. That is really where I began to truly follow Jesus, to truly love Jesus. And that led to me even wanting to go into ministry, because I wanted to make sure that everyone in the world, everyone that I interacted with, would know who Jesus was. It wasn't until about 6 months ago, 5-6 months ago, that I started coming to Arcade. I had a friend who she was kind of hopping around churches and asked me, she's like, hey, do you want to come to this church with me? They're meeting in person, it's outdoors, it's a great place to be, and I hadn't been to an in-person church in over a year at this point. And so said yes, and I came and absolutely fell in love. I started remembering the love of the church I had grown up in, remembering like, oh yeah, this is the family of God that I grew up with and that I could see happening in this church, because I believe that church isn't just a place you go to on Sunday mornings, but a family that you are a part of Monday through Saturday as well, that you get to grow, that you get to figure out how to do life on earth together with these people who are seeking to do the same.